everybody to the HolloTalk Podcast. This is Jetpack Nick, and I'm here with a very special guest today, my guy, Tavares TV. Say what's up to the people.
How you doing? How y'all doing? Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good, man. I can't complain. Today is the first day of fall, so this is my favorite season.
I respect it. Fall is a good. That's a good joint right there. It's a good season. It's not too hot, not too cold. I like to wear hoodies, So
I like jackets. Summertime is cool, but it's like, sometimes cool for the beach and after a while. But you get in the beach and then when you go to the pool, you get all ashy. You gotta do so much.
Yeah, that's why you gotta bring the lotion. Make sure you ain't walking around the streets ashy.
So much. You gotta go take a shower. You gotta do it all over again and get it together. But I don't know. I just like this season because it's just nice and cool. You could turn the AC off.
No, that's a fact for sure. All right, so let's get into it, man. So for the people who don't know who you are, can you let them know who you are, what you're about, and what you do?
Yeah, I think I could do that.
All right. Say less.
I'm Tavares TV, born in Brooklyn, raised in Brooklyn. I do music. I'm born to do music. I was born behind a group. My father named behind a group. My name is Tavares. That's how I got TV. One of my best friends gave me that name for short. And there was an R&B group, which is my father's favorite group, and they say there was really a big group in the 70s.
You're talking about Tavares, the R&B group?
Yeah. So I was actually named behind that group. So that's why my artist name is Tavares TV, because I can't use Tavares.
Got you.
But my father knew I was going to be special, I guess. And he knew I was going to be singing and doing the same thing that he did. So that's who I am. I write music and I record. I have my own little recording studio home. And I like to make good music for people to see what people, just to kind of relate to my experiences and other people's experiences when I write music. So That's who I am. Tavares TV. How you doing?
No, okay, cool. So let's get into the music side. We're gonna go to a lot of different places, but I definitely want to highlight the music situation first because that's what you do, right? So with the music, have you recorded anything that the people would know, that the masses would know?
When you mean record, like any new music?
Any new music, any old music, any unreleased music?
Well, I have a lot of unreleased music, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm independent now, so I've been putting out albums like since 2015. I think I started my own distribution, and I had the opportunity to put out my own music, and through a cousin hooked me up with Tidal. Like when this distribution thing started, I was like one of the first people who was onto it in my hood. A lot of people didn't know about, how can they put their music on all platforms. And I was grateful. On my birthday, my cousin Michelle, she had hooked me up and she took me to the guy that runs Tidal and was like, hook my cousin up, show him how to put his music on Tidal and everything. And I was like, because, we would put our songs out on YouTube.
Right.
And back then we were putting our songs out when this is independent. I think you would put the song out on like, and YouTube. What was the other thing?
YouTube, SoundCloud.
Yeah, I think I was putting SoundCloud, but SoundCloud didn't like me because I did a couple of covers and they would take my stuff down. So I'm so glad this happened because SoundCloud was over me. Yeah, because when I did freestyles to other people's music, they ain't let me keep it. So, yeah, like I don't know. A lot of people, who I send them straight to my link. They just go either Tavares TV on Google. If you type Tavares TV on Google, you'll see all my music links, and you can check out my albums. I have like Back to Love, 411, which is my first project I put out. Once I had my hands on distribution.
Okay, so, when that album come out?
If I'm not mistaken, I think I put 411 out 2015 or 2016.
Okay.
I think 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest with you. When I did 411, I was working on a lot of music, so I didn't really have like a direction where I was going with the sound when I did 411, because that's when I got my hands on distribution. So once I got to connect to put my own music out, I was like, oh, I'm throwing something out right away. You can put your own music out and it's going on everything, like the same platforms, Beyonce, Jay, everybody on. Oh, it's on.
Right.
We're gonna just drop this now. So that's I put like the reason why I named it 411 because my birthday is April 11th. And 411 also stands for information.
Absolutely.
So that's why I did that. You know, my birthday 411 and information. So I figured that's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Get to know me.
What's the 411?
There you go. Get to know me. So when I put 411 out, a lot of people liked 411. They was like, "Oh, that's nice," and you know. But you learn from when you listen to your stuff and you put stuff out. You, you never in competition with nobody else. You in competition with yourself. That's how.
Absolutely.
So when you hear it, you're like, "Wait, I'm gonna upgrade, and I'm gonna put something out better." You know. So I try to put out like another project, and I try to give it a little, different sound. And I don't know, my brothers and my cousins, they came to the house, and I put a couple of tracks out, and I think that was BTV. And they was like, we gonna be honest with you, we don't like it. You're missing a lot of like elements. I was like, what y'all talking about? They was like, we don't like it. I was like, okay. And I'm, imagine somebody tell you that like they don't like the project.
Yeah, that could be
But
disheartening.
and we sitting there, we having drinks, and they just out of nowhere like, I'm be honest with you, TV, like this new project that you put out, you do. That's feel like you rushed it. And you left a lot of stuff out. I was like, BTV. I was like, yeah. I don't like it. I was like, oh. But when I tell you, when I went back to that drawing board, I was like, okay, we're gonna go back to the drawing board. And that's when I did. I started working on Back to Love. I said, let me take it back to the basics. Go back to the R&B, the love, and show them that I ain't none of that. I just like to just do different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to love. And I think that's when people started, like, I started getting back my crowd, like the older crowd.
The
Too, 'cause
core
I don't want to
fans,
move
yeah.
away from them too much.
That's a fact.
So I put that out, Back to Love. I think I put that out like 2019, as a matter of fact, during the pandemic. We were on lockdown when I put Back to Love out.
Mm-hmm.
So I put that out. I wrote that, over like I think I started working on the album like 2018, beginning of 2018. I think it took me about a year and a half to put that album out. And
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, that's me, man. Like I just love my music. So now, now we have I don't know, now we here with it. So once I put Back to Love out 2019, right after that, I ended up getting a whole management team.
Okay, talk to me about
So
that.
I kind of wish that I would have kind of got that management team before I put Back to Love out, because I think the quality and everything would be so much better and so much bigger.
I mean, you can always re-release it.
Oh, I am.
I'll say less. You're
I'm
ahead of the
always,
game.
I'm right now. I'm in the process now to just going in my catalog. It don't make sense to just, I'm making new music now. Don't get me wrong, but I'm about to go back into my catalog because I own my stuff, and I'm gonna flip it, switch some stuff up, add some, change it up. Who knows? I might start singing this verse on this track. Because that's where we at now with it.
No,
So,
this is real experimental. I like
oh
it.
yeah, it's crazy now. Like this new era of music and sound. Oh man, like I've been waiting for this moment where people can just do what they want to do. I don't think
Yeah.
it's so much trap no more. I think
Nah, not really.
trap was
No.
a long run. Trap music had a long run.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Yeah. What you think about the new sound, the era, this new era?
So for me, right? Like I'm more catered to a more classic sound, like 90s, early 2000s. That's more of what I choose to listen to. But for the new sound, like I definitely think there's a lot of like dope artists out that are creating a lot of dope music. Like low key, 2022 has really been like one of the best years for music, honestly. It's like a lot of the music that's came out so far, and a lot of the music that's going to continue to come out through the rest of the year is definitely setting itself up to be one of the best years in music in recent history. So for me, I'm definitely in tune with a lot of different music, a lot of different artists, and a lot of different genres. And
Right.
I could definitely say that people are putting out some high quality stuff.
Okay, I can agree with that. This year, there's been a lot of good music this year. I mean, it's over the years, it's really always been good music. It's just that now it's not in your face.
True.
You really have to be researching and find it. That's what I'm learning too. Like people be complaining about what plays on the radio. No, that's why we have all these platforms for you to go find and do your research and find
Facts.
who you. It's better when you can find that type of artist that inspires you, opposed to just waiting for somebody to play it on the radio.
Yeah,
You
I
know what
mean,
I'm saying?
no, that's a fact because like for me, right? Like a lot of the music that I listen to, like I found it kind of through my own, searching and music, right? Like I can't I come
Feels
from
better.
I come from a family that like listens to a lot of music, but a lot of the stuff that I listen to, like I find it on my own. So when I'm listening to like a lot of these older groups or like older singers or rappers or whatever the case may be, like that's just me going through the history of music and being curious about the history and what sounds good, like where's this sample from, like that's one of the things I'm really big on, like the samples, like, oh, where did this song come from, or like, oh, this little piece or whatever, like finding a sample is like finding candy in a candy store for me. I'm excited.
We gonna get into this sample thing.
Let's talk about it, come on.
Oh, baby. Let me tell you something.
You
I
got me
have
nervous.
always been like a lot of people, like I when you hear me, you hear me. Like that's what everybody will say about me. Like I never like I don't know, I wasn't like I'm not really following what everybody was doing. I just enjoy doing music. I was just
Right.
always like that, but I think it comes from when I was like 17, 18 when I first started. Because I started writing about 15 years old, but um I used to throw lyrics away because I thought it was corny. Until one day I sat down with one of my homies and saw what the hell he was writing. And I no disrespect to you, because I know you're gonna probably see this podcast. I was like, what the hell? I've been throwing away all my shit like that, and this type of shit that you could just line. So I wasn't structuring it. So I threw away a lot of hits when I was younger.
Yeah, you're not
When I
supposed to
sat
throw
down with
away
him.
your music, man. Like you never know, like it could be gold. You could be sitting on a gold mine, and
But
maybe it might not be the right time for that song or that lyric or whatever, but it might be the right time later on. So you never
but
want
I'm
to throw
be
your work
honest, who
away.
knows? I probably would have lost it by then. When you're young,
It
15,
maybe.
you move in and when you move in and you're not holding on to, because it wasn't like, I guess when I think about it now, writing music back in the days when I was 14 and 15 years old, that was my journal. But I would have lost that journal. I know I would have lost it. All the moving, like when you're moving around and then paper, you have like we wasn't on like back in the days, we wasn't on like cell
Mm,
phone where you could archive everything in your notes.
right.
I don't know, I probably would have lost it, but then maybe not because I do have like a lot of tapes. I have a whole, the Michael Jordan case, like the gray Michael Jordan case.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a whole Michael Jordan case when I had the Michael Jordans. Remember they came in that case? I
Mm-hmm.
was young around the
No,
time when they came.
I'm very interested in the culture.
Yeah, these Jordans came out in this silver case, and I bought them. Right?
Mm,
I was like, yo, this is kind of hot. So I put all my tape cassettes in that case, the ones I could fit. And
mm-hmm.
this is like all my old music when we were recording on 8 tracks. And when you go in the studio, they give you a copy of your music on a freaking cassette tape. So I got a whole bunch of them. It's funny because I was just talking to my guy and I was telling him I'm going to buy a tape player,
Mm-hmm.
so I can go through that because I want to bring those songs back. But I have to take it to a producer to reproduce the
For
tracks.
sure.
You know, but what were we talking about? Because I mean, I could be all over the place.
No, listen. I mean, that's fine. Like I said, I tell everybody this. If you go on a tangent, that's fine. Like somebody's gonna understand it. It's a gym in there somewhere for the right person.
I'm always all over the place. Everybody always say that, but
No,
I
no,
guess
you
that's the
good.
artist in me.
No, you good. No, you was asking me like how I felt about music in today's climate, which, like I said, it's a lot of dope stuff out there, and for the retractors who think that it's not a lot of dope music out there, you're just not looking in the right place. Like it's always been dope music in every era. Like
And
sometimes it just wasn't mainstream.
and you know what? Like I guess I'm in the middle, in between old school and new school. I'm in the middle right now. I kind
Okay.
of feel like in the middle. So when I say that, I mean I'm in touch. My age, I'm right there in the middle of everything. So I'm able to keep the crowd, the old school crowd, happy and still keep the younger ones happy. Because my nephews are your age or younger than you, and like these, like they're I always know through them. Like when I heard my nephew singing my song "Don't Bother Me" on 411, that's his favorite record. But as a kid, my sister sent me a video. He's like, I think he's 21 now.
Okay.
When this kid was like freaking 10 and 11, I want to say no, maybe a little 17, 16 years old, somewhere around there. Because, yeah, he was singing one of my songs on my album when I put out "Don't Bother Me" and dancing in the house. So my sister always remind me, like when her kids, I don't have kids, but that's how I learned that I'm touching the younger people. I'm like, oh wow, they like my music. And so I don't know, I kind of look at it like I don't judge, like a lot of people be mad, the old school, the people who came before and they're like, oh, like this sound now today is just so horrible. No, 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 no. You have to do your research. Like you can't judge people on this is their life. Your life was your life in your era.
Mm-hmm.
The sound was different. There was 8 tracks. You know, people were making up beats on pots and pans.
Right.
It was just different. Technology was different. So now you have a different level of technology and you have a different era of music. Don't knock it. Maybe some stuff might not be for you, but you will find something.
For sure. So, okay, so let me ask you this question because, like you saying that, just had me think of a question. So do you feel like the disconnect between the older generation and the newer generation when it comes to music is due to the fact that the older generation just doesn't understand the new generation of music, or the new generation not paying homage to the old generation?
I think the older generation don't understand what's going on because the new generation, they are paying homage by taking their samples and sampling these
Right,
older,
right,
and that's paying homage, even though some of them don't want them doing that. Some people don't like people touching their songs. I even have
right.
a friend, I asked him, I said, you want to remix this record? Because such and such want to jump on the record. You want to do a remix? So he was like, no. Everybody not into people like classics and things to not be touched.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have a group of people who don't like people to sample their music. Me personally, that's my dream. Sample my voice, sample my music, do all that shit because that's a compliment. I always want somebody to be able to take a piece of what I did and make it theirs and do something because this is beautiful to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for it. But I think the disconnect is just basically younger people. If you interested in really making them happy, you'll find a way to make them happy. Like let's say Kendrick Lamar. When Kendrick Lamar came out, yeah, he was from Compton. That's where he's from, right? Compton.
Mm-hmm.
And he was rapping fast or whatever he was doing. But what really made people pay attention to Kendrick Lamar when he did the song with Janet Jackson, right? He took the Janet Jackson thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, poetic justice.
So I think around that era, people started paying attention. He grabbed my attention. I'm an
Mm-hmm.
R&B singer. There's certain things rappers will do that'll grab my attention and make me download and say, oh, wait, hold on, who the hell is this? Then I type them and then I start listening to their music. So I don't know. I just kind of feel like the disconnect, it would be with I don't know, the older people, like the old school, like you gotta understand they made the type of music they made, they're not gonna understand this type of era. But they do have kids. I think it's a level of frustration too when they hear it's just a bunch of kids. That's to their mind. It's just like, oh my God. I don't know. Left my mic on. This is how they thinking. I walked away from my studio and left my mic on, and my son went in the studio and just started recording everything he wanted to record and put the shit out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're probably thinking because I heard a couple of old school people say a lot of stuff. And when I did a cover song, when I had to do a Luther Vandross song for a wedding, for instance, right? And I'm around OGs, and they was like, "Yo, do not mess this record up," and they was pressuring me. I already knew I was gonna kill the record,
Right.
but I have my aunt. You know who I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure.
They were like, "Yo, let me hear you sing this Luther Vandross song. Don't go in there switching up Luther." I was like, "Y'all really didn't need to tell me that," but I'm smiling. But I needed that solidification. I needed that somebody to nudge me and say, "Wait, hold up. Don't go in there going crazy." See, because when I was younger, I was one of them R&B singers that knew how to riff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah.
that new era, like they did a lot of that riffing and everything, and but I always knew how to kind of keep it real low key,
Subtle,
where I could just not overdo it.
for sure.
Because after a while, it was this repetition, and it shows like, okay, you're not mature enough. I think when they over riff and it kind of come off more like, all right,
Yeah.
you enjoying your voice so much that you don't realize that your words mean more than your voice sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
People listen to the words too, so you have to balance it. Can't always be running, doing all these runs. And I think they was nervous because they know I can do all that, so they're making sure I don't do nothing crazy. And I did the Luther Vandross song. I did Here and Now.
Oh, that's a good joint right there.
Yeah, and I had to sing it when the girl came out. The bride, yo, it was so beautiful. I had a nice tuxedo. I didn't have a tuxedo. I had a black tailored suit, but it felt tuxedo-ish because that thing was tailored, tapered. How they say it, tapered, boy. That thing was tight. And when you look good, you feel good, right?
Of course.
And when she came out and I'm singing, it was outside.
Okay.
And it was just like I had to sing that verse, and it was just beautiful just to hear it coming down. I'm nervous, and I could feel myself but I'm like, I'm not about to mess up and forget the words. Imagine forgetting somebody words to a song while a bride is walking up to the aisle to her husband.
Right. I think about that a lot. Like when I see people sing, especially like the national anthem or something like that, I just be thinking are they do they know all the words? And I'll be listening to make sure they saying all the words. I'll be like, yo, that's like that's like a great skill because it reminds me of me when I'm like acting or something like that, just remembering
Right.
my lines or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, it's showtime, we on stage or we in front of the camera or whatever. Let's make sure we hit every every line. But I guess it's a little different though, like as a singer versus being an actor, because the crowd and the audience don't know what the words are supposed to be. As a singer, you singing a song, the audience knows what the words are supposed to be. Sometimes even better than the performer. So I feel like y'all got more pressure.
Yeah, because we have to really know how to sing. Because because I don't care how good you can sing, you make one mistake, and you can really, if you don't pay attention to what you're doing, because there's a music scale.
Right.
So the scale is the scale, and people gonna know when you're off. If you hit a note and you're like, oh, and then you don't hit that note right, good ears gonna hear that. Oh no, you went flat right there. You have to pay attention to all that when you sing it. So I do agree, but I don't think it's that big of a difference. Like I think it's very important to prep.
Of course, absolutely.
No matter how good you are, you're always supposed to prep. Like I just did a show, as a matter of fact. Can we go into that, or should we wait?
Yeah, absolutely. No, we could definitely talk about that for sure.
So we were supposed to do this podcast a couple of days before the show, but then I thought about it. I'm like, it might be smart to just do it after the show.
Right.
Since when we met, I told you I was doing the show, and I'm like, wouldn't it be smart to do it after the show?
Yeah, we had some more content to talk about.
Yeah, so
let's get into it.
So all right. So I was booked to do a wedding for the 23rd, and they had me singing a cover song, Elvis Presley song. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't like the song. The first time a person asked me to do a song and they picked the record, and but it was when I heard it was easy. I can't even tell you the name of it, to be honest. And I'm gonna get into that while I'm gonna say I didn't like it because the 23rd is not yet. It's tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
We end up not doing it.
Okay.
There's a lot of back and forth with that. So, the showcase, I had to prep for the showcase. Like, even though I know my records, like sometimes I won't listen to my music for a while. Like, I might go like a couple of weeks.
What's the reason behind that?
Because I don't like to oversaturate my ears with.
I got you.
With my sound. So when I fall back, it makes me be unbiased with my own music. I think when you listen to your music so much, you sometimes don't even hear all the errors. Because there's so much, you're enjoying it and you listen to it. And then if you got people who are around you who enjoy it, because there's certain levels of artistry to me, like I can do a song and people gonna love it. Some people gonna love it, but I know there's things I can do to make them to make me love it the same way they love it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I like it, but I know they might not hear what I can do to make it better.
Right.
Because they might not have the abilities to do that and don't see that. So I just listen and I get the, input, and then I go in there and I'm like, I'm gonna kill it. So when I fall back for a couple of weeks, it just makes me just leave it alone for a while. But I find myself not doing it on purpose. When I fall back, I just live and go somewhere and hang out more and travel, whatever I'm doing. And then when I come back, I'm like, you know what? I always get pushed to, the studio because somebody always like, all right, I need you to do a show or I need you to do this. And when they push me, that's what brings me back to my art. And then I start going through my catalog and I'm listening to stuff and I'm like, oh, now I know what I can do with that record. I didn't hear it before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll sit here and I'll just like break it down. And then most of the tracks I have, I try to always make sure I have the masters to my music. And I'm not saying this to just kind of have a level up. I want to teach people like it's very important to try to have your masters.
Okay.
You're doing music, especially if you're independent. There's no reason why you shouldn't have your masters. Okay. When you go in the studio, we can get into that though.
Okay, cool.
But my point is, a lot of the tracks that I have tracked out, so I'm able to break the track down. When I want to perform, I don't perform the track the same way. Like I don't want to just play a beat most of the time and just sing over the beat, and then the same way you heard it is the way you think you're gonna hear it on stage. You have more leverage to kind of change your sound up and kind of break it down for people when you have your masters, when you have the stuff tracked out.
Mm-hmm.
That means each instrument, like if it's 30 instruments in the track, I can actually mute which instrument I don't want to hear at the time. You get it?
Yeah, I know. I'm following you.
Yeah, so one of these records, I have like the masters to it, and I enjoy breaking it down. And I took a chance because the track, like the instruments are so rich. So when I had them play it, they broke it down and you play this instrument first and you play this one, then it comes in, boom, and then I start singing to it. It came out nice. My set was really nice. I ended up doing more songs than I was supposed to. And then I got a request. So I did 7 songs.
Okay.
I was supposed to do 4. I think I had 4, but I ended up doing 7 and they requested me to do another record on the spot. They was like, we're so sorry. We had to request this record, so give him a chance. So I had to go to the DJ and give him the track. I said, let's go. Vocals was on point. I did my exercises. I was doing sit-ups, and I even stopped smoking these little things for 2 weeks because this is, even though I know I can sing with doing these, but any little thing that you're not supposed to be smoking anyway can take away the confidence from the vocals. I made sure the vocals was right because I knew I was going to have to do at least 7 songs because I never get out of a show without people asking for more records. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, of course.
That means you have hits.
Yeah, and they're enjoying it.
Yeah, I gave them the business. I slowed it down. No, I'm serious. I gave them the business. And these songs ain't out yet. So I did a bunch of songs that's not out yet for this set. And it was and the thing was, you ready for this?
I'm listening. I'm ready.
Ooh, I wish you would have really came because you would have.
No, I was trying to, man, but
no, you would have enjoyed this.
So some things came up, but listen, I know you're gonna have more shows. So when you have another one, definitely let me know, and I'm gonna come through for sure.
Nah, it's only reason I'm saying that is because I'm gonna be honest with you because I was like, well, what the hell are we doing here? My manager, right? So I have 2 managers.
Mm-hmm.
One is Puerto Rican, one is Black.
Okay.
So I'm really blessed to have. When I'm saying I'm around a lot of Latinos, and I have a lot of Latino friends, of course, but I'm talking about I even have a song where I'm singing. I'm singing in Spanish on some.
Oh, where?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm working with him, and he likes to write music with me because he's Spanish, and I like, he'll get a track and say, I want you to do this with this track, and I want to. So we'll get together and we'll write to it, and I'm like, what do this mean in Spanish? There's a record we did. When I remember the record, I'll say it, I'll recite it. But I end up asking him, I said, how do you say this in Spanish? So I'll be knowing what I want to say. All right, you want me to do something? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. So I'm like, yo, what do this mean in Spanish? Say it for me. Then I'm like, oh, I like the way that sounds. Then I would actually do it in a hook.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did on that song. And he taught me. So like then I got my black dude who I've worked with, who's, business smart but hood too. So he's more street, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I gotta go gutter with him. But he also do like my clean R&B.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they be want to see me go hard, and then his wife, she's really like smooth R&B. So then she likes the smooth. So I show all different sides. That's why I'm versatile. I'm great.
Right.
I'm grateful to be versatile because it would be so difficult for me to be around all these type of people, and you can't satisfy people if you don't have the ability to do all these things. You can't do it. There's artists that you don't have that versatility. You just have that one sound. There's nothing wrong with it, But if you have that versatility, they're gonna work you. They want everything in the crayon and the coloring book.
I mean, listen, it pays to be versatile. Like when I got a chance to listen to some of your songs and everything, like you definitely pointed me in the direction to hear the versatility, like hear the slow ballads and hear the up tempo type tracks. That you got the track that you rap on. There was a lot of different types of styles of music that you put me on to that you did, and I was like, yo. Like this is definitely gonna be like something that you could really, really eat on forever because you always got a lane. Like no matter what dries up, it's always a lane that you could go into.
You know what? It's funny you said that because you were one of them. I always pick a few people random, like in my family is always my close friends, and I always get at least 4 or 5 people when I'm working on something without even telling them. I'll just play the track and say, "What you think of this? Like, what you think?" And I just hear what they like, and like while I'm working on stuff, and that gives me a little, idea of like, okay, this one likes this type of sound, and it kind of helps you put a nice body of work together. Because you always be around people, and I don't know, I'm just used to being around people who don't care what they say. They're gonna tell you, mm-mm. I don't really get that. I think one track in my whole life ever doing music, I had somebody say I don't like, and that was my manager. The Spanish one, like last year. So I don't know what I was thinking about. I wrote this record, and I think what I called it, and it was like this weird beat they sent to me, and it was like all these things in the track. Yeah, what I called this track?
And he was getting too experimental.
It was called Bucket List. I was like, something, something, something. I'm checking off my bucket list. Quit my 9 to 5. I'm checking off the bucket list. But it was, I think when I played the form with the track, I wasn't really, I didn't sell it to him right, but kind of scrapped it. And I still have the lyrics, but it's called Bucket List. And he was like, I don't know about that one. But, so you try different things, but that's the first time I ain't gonna front my whole life I ever heard somebody say they don't like something. So I think I'm in a good space.
No, right.
Topic. So we were talking about that lounge. So the Smoke Lounge, yo, I ain't gonna front. When they booked this spot, I was like, damn, you got us doing a show in a freaking cigar lounge. I was like, how the hell is that gonna work out? I'm gonna tell you, that place was sexy. That place was nice. I did not expect it to be. I was a little nervous because I'm like, damn, we're bringing my people all the way out to Queens. I got a lot of my people coming from Jersey and Brooklyn. And then you bring me out to a lounge in Queens. This place was nice. They had like 10 TVs all over the place with our pictures and the videos of us, in the studio and little captures of that. They had 2 DJs when you walk in. They had a nice bar. The lighting was nice. They had these tables with these lights on top of the tables with the logos of the bar on top. They had a backyard. It's like you can go in the back, and it was just like big old TV back there with just like our stuff, like the Firehouse stuff, the things that we did over the past year, and all that's running on the slideshow. And then they had like really nice, sexy bartenders, like just like with setups. Then you go downstairs. There was another DJ downstairs. So they had 2 DJs. They had one DJ upstairs, one DJ downstairs. And downstairs was set up real nice. And then you smell cigars because it's a bar now. So they got a real nice, big old room where it's just a bunch of cigars. You can go buy your cigar.
Right.
You go in there and you pick your cigar, whatever cigar you want, and you just smoke the cigar. So it was really nice. Like all my people enjoyed it. They liked it. We did smell like a bunch of smoke when we came out. When I walked in, I had to wash everything. I'm talking about even my book bag.
I would imagine so. It's a cigar lounge.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, I was a little nervous because I'm asthmatic, to be honest.
Oh, got you.
But I don't really have chronic asthma, so I don't really get sick. But it sometimes you're like, you never know. Like
No, it's
we're
a
in a
fact.
Yeah, so I was like, damn, I hope I don't get sick in here because if I get sick, it's over. I'm not gonna sound good. I can't breathe right. I'm gonna be struggling. So I made it through. I don't know if I would do it. I think I'll do it again. I think
I
I'll do it
mean,
again.
you made it through. So I mean, it was a successful night. It was a successful performance. So I mean, that's all you can ask for at the end of the day, right?
Man, listen, I'm grateful they put it together because it got us out of the rusty. Small rooms are good for me. You know, if that was an up close and personal, that's good for me because I was able to really talk to my people while I'm in the middle. I'm that type of artist. I can talk in the middle
For
of
sure.
just catching a bar. So I'm like singing and I'm like telling the words to you, and then I'm like, wait, hold up. I don't feel that way no more. And they'd be like, I catch people off guard. They're like, oh shit, did you just say that?
No,
So
for sure.
it was
So,
nice. My sister, everybody was like, yo, you
oh,
really sound great.
everybody was in the mix.
Yeah, even my aunt.
All
She called
right.
me. She said, yo, you killed it. She said, because she always be saying I'm timid. She said, you be acting like you nervous, like you don't be wanting to let it all out. Like you be feeling like you shouldn't give them everything.
No,
She said,
it's
you
a
gave
fact.
them the business.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the HolloTalk Podcast. We experienced a little technical difficulty. We was out here going viral, shutting the internet down. But we back. We back.
Shut it down, shut it down.
Okay. All right. So TV, my guy, my man. I want to revisit a conversation we was having before we had got disconnected. So you was talking about attaining your masters, right? So the fact that you was a part of a major and then you transitioned into being an independent artist, how does that work as far as like attaining your masters?
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mind being with a major label because I want everybody to hear my sound. And I think when you're with a major label, it's a machine and it allows you to be heard. More people to hear you, and you can't be selfish. So I don't have a problem. So I'm gonna shout out to all the big labels. If you're interested in the kid, holler at your boy. I'm independent right now, and I don't know. I just because I was signed to a label first.
Can you say who you were signed to or
Yeah, I was signed to Roc-A-Fella Records
okay.
with Jay. I got signed in 1996.
So you signed during the inception of Roc-A-Fella Records.
You mean when it first started?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Everybody was trying to get everything. There was no furniture in the office.
Oh man.
No bullshit. It was no
Oh,
furniture. It was.
you got some stories.
I was the fly. I'm the fly on the wall. You
All
hear
right,
me?
well, let's get into
I
it.
just happen to just eat good. You know what I'm saying?
The Hollow Talk Podcast exclusives is back.
Fly on the wall that ate good. You know. So
Okay.
I don't know. When we got signed to Roc-A-Fella Records, it was just like everything was starting out. First of all, Damien Dash, he was running the label at the time, and
Shouts out to Dame Dash.
yeah, shout out to Damien Dash. And Colleen, shout out to Colleen. All these people were there, like from the beginning. And when the first song I came up with was called "Crazy on the Streets of What," the soundtrack.
That's a classic. That's a classic soundtrack.
But
Classic.
it was produced by Jazzo, the same guy that did "Ain't No Nigga Like the One."
Mm-hmm.
So the song was a decent song. It was like kind of country or whatever, but I learned from there. I kind of feel like because once they had all these situations going on, I didn't know nothing about it. Jazzo and Damien Dash and Jay and all of that. Like, I don't know, it was just a lot of stuff going on business wise, and it was a big, big process. And we didn't know nothing about it. So it's a lot of that didn't work out. Jazzo, whatever happened with him in the situation, he produced the track got pulled, it was horrible. So it's like when you hear the saying about your life, Damien Dash said this to me. He was like, always pay attention because when your life is in somebody else's hands. That didn't sit well with me. So I don't mind being independent. I didn't mind being independent. I don't like the fact that my life is in somebody else's hands.
Right, right.
So it didn't sit well, but I saw that because now we went from doing the single Garth Brooks wanted to remix this single. You know how big that would have been? But
Absolutely.
because
Garth
of this,
Brooks then sold the most records ever.
okay, so he heard Crazy and he wanted to
Hmm.
do something crazy. So we went from that
That's
to
wild.
it was about to do a whole video to Crazy. It was about to be crazy. And then no, it had nothing to do with really Jay. It was just business, you know. So it didn't work out with Jazz and them at the time. So my song got pulled. And that's why, we here with it. I didn't really know how to like then once they broke up, it was just a lot. Damien Jazz and Jay broke up. I felt like the kids under the it's just like being two people being married and you're the kids.
Right.
Everybody taking their sides. Some people went with Jay, some people went with Damien. I just happened to be with Jay, of course, for two
Right.
reasons. My family, number one. So, and number two is just that's Jay. He's the one that told me to come to his label. He's the one that brought me to his label. I had a conversation with Jay. He gave me the business card and said, "Come up to the label. You sound dope." Because I interviewed with him in Fort Greene in the projects in the hallway. So, I had to sing for Jay in the hallway in the projects, and we did like 3 songs. And the funny thing is, after we did those 3 songs, that one song stuck with him because we did 2 covers, and then we did one song, Crazy, which is the song that's on the soundtrack.
Hmm.
So I'm grateful for that. But when I mean by your life being in people's hands, that's what I mean by that. Because when people hear me sing now, then they hear my level of talent. And if I don't like telling this story because when I tell people this story, it kind of puts you in a situation where now you open up the door for people to say certain things, and you don't really want people to not be honest with their reactions, but you really also want to be careful with how people talk to you because your self-esteem will go low. And when you're artist,
Absolutely.
you have to stay, your vibe has to be high. That's the only way you're gonna really, really get out here and really be confident to make it. You have to have a high level of energy and vibe. So you got to make sure that you be careful what you're doing and what you're saying around people because they could bring you all the way down. So I don't really talk about it. I never really talked about it in an interview or anything. This
Oh
is the first
well. Oh,
interview I
well, didn't see the HolloTalk podcast provides
yeah,
some people with exclusive content. This is what we do, man.
yeah, serious. I was stuck for years, about 10 years. And then one day I wrote this song and I spoke about it and I let my aunt hear it. And when she heard it, she said, "Wow, you spoke about," I'm talking about Miss Carter. She
Okay.
heard it and she was like, "Wow, you spoke about that situation." I just didn't know what happened. So for years, I kind of felt like I disappointed Jay, and I never disappointed Jay. It was just the label they broke up as,
Hmm.
and you don't know I just didn't know what to do at the time. So I don't know. I just stayed independent. I never took my music to a major label after that. But at the same time, I'm glad these things happen because I guess this is the road God chose for me to take. Everybody don't need to take the high road. I'm still blessed. And I guess this is the way I was supposed to be blessed because I'm supposed to be able to not take the shortcut.
Of course.
And I learned from that. So now I know what's going on when it comes to all that stuff, like masses and all that stuff. Like people don't understand. Like when let's say, all right, so when people own your masters because they paid for it anyway, right?
Hmm.
That's when people be mad, like, "Oh, masters, yo, I'll pay for everything. So it's my masters. You just happen to be singing on the shit.
Right.
I'll pay for everything to happen. This is my shit." So people don't understand that. But if you know what's going on, you can negotiate maybe to own a percentage of your masters. Because let's say if you just singing the song and I made the track, I produced the track. That's where the bigger bucks at, right? So a lot of times when people say masters, like, "Oh yeah, you got a copy of your song," but the masters is when I can go into that same file and I can go back into your old stuff and I can maybe send it a cappella or put it on a different track. You could do so much with the masters. And that's what I mean by that. Only reason why I own my masters because obviously I have my own studio.
Right.
And so when I do my songs, I have the file here. Once you create a big file, you start putting all the instruments, everything in your file. That's your master. When you go in the studio and you record a song and you give them the track, oh, I'm on the track. If you don't got no hard drive and you just walking out the studio and you just got a copy of the song, you just left your masters in the studio with the person that's engineering your songs. You have to make sure you have a hard drive to put all that. Nah, give me that whole file. Put that on my hard drive. Thank you. That's your masters. So I don't know. I'm just used to always having my masters because I don't know nothing different. Like when I go into my hard drive, I see nothing but masters in there. It's just nothing but because I record most of my stuff here. So when I do other stuff with people, they own. If I'm doing a hook with somebody like my boy, he owns his masters. If I'm just on a hook, that's his. Like that. But also, now we're in an era where, like, if you just have to have the money to just be, money talks. So you really can't say you could keep your whole master if somebody's paying for everything.
Right.
That's the only thing about that.
Okay, so let me ask a follow-up question because this is really good. So do you feel like you would have been better served staying on a major, or do you feel like you're in a better position now that you're independent?
Definitely.
Definitely independent?
No, I would have been much better on the bigger label because of who I am and the type of music I put out. I think because of the my skill set, I think I would be so much better on a label. And I'm interested now. I just told my manager, I said, take my music over to a label. I'm that interested to be a part of something bigger because I just have too much. I'm too quick with my creative. Like, I can write an album in a week. A really good one. So it's like, I don't know. I just say it now. Just like, if you put it all on the table and I have to wake up every day and just go to do music, I think I don't really, with the type of people I have around me, I have people already who successful because of music. And just when you're around those type of people, you get those type of opinions and you get that type of feedback. You're like, oh, I'm on the right track. They always give you like, and I don't listen to everything. I'm not a yes man either. Right. I don't care who you are. I only take advice. And then I put everything together with what I think should go with that advice you gave me. If that's, I don't just take everything somebody's saying and say, oh, let me just do it your way. Your way is the highway. I always take a little bit of here from there and like, okay, I can hear, all right. And then we get a happy medium. So I don't know. I just kind of feel being on a major label would be smart for me because I don't have no money to be putting out to do all this marketing. And it costs at least $250 to $500 to really get a song out there like that. Mm-hmm. That's money. So I'd rather go to a label and throw me on a hot record with somebody that's already I'm fire on that. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a fact.
I'm interested, but for years ago, I don't know if I was because I didn't never take my music to a label, but I think I'm interested now because you can't go but so far as an independent artist, to be honest. You got to work extra hard. I really don't have the time to do all that. Like, you got to be the person in the office. You have to be the person on the stage. You have to be the person doing this. And then now I'm around other artists. I'm mentoring other people. And then I still want to get back into doing my program with music, doing vocal training for people, like in the schools.
Right. We definitely talked about that off the record.
So this would just get me there quicker, and I can be able to hire people to put things in place. I can't do everything on my own,
You got my brain moving at a rapid pace right now.
No, I'm just being honest.
I have so many questions that I want to ask, but like every question I ask, like you give me a detailed description of everything, so it's hard for me to even get all the questions in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry about that. That's exactly what every podcast host wants their guests to do is give detailed answers and paint the pictures of amazing stories that they've experienced, which I hope we can continue to do. So you mentioned that you was a part of Roc-A-Fella Records and at its beginning, right? So yeah. Is it any like dope stories that you got about the start of Roc-A-Fella up until talk to me. Let's get into it. Let's really talk about it.
Let me tell you, I sat in meetings with Damien Dash I don't know. Like a lot of people don't like Damien Dash, but I love Damien Dash.
Me too.
I'm gonna put this on record because it's true. I really love him. What him and Jay went through is between him and Jay. That's
Right,
business.
right.
He's still my family. If I see Damien Dash today, I'm show him love and give him a big hug. And
Well,
if it's work, I'm jumping in.
hopefully we could get him on the HolloTalk podcast, man, because that's one person I would really, really love to talk to. Like that,
You should
he's inspired me a whole lot, and a lot of people don't know that, but the people that's close to me definitely know that for sure.
you should reach out to him. He might do it because he's a down to earth brother. But he's very honest, and a lot of people don't like that. I like that. I'm used to being around alpha males and people who's just straight honest. My uncle, which is Jay's father, was like that. Everybody was just straight up. There's no cutting corners, and they was aggressive with what they saying. There's nothing wrong with that. Highly confident, and you think that soft stuff. Like you shouldn't want somebody to be so soft with you all the time. Anyway, you want people to be hard with you because this way, if you get it right and they say it's right, then damn, I was gonna get that stamp from you. And Damon Dash was one of them. When I got in the office and I sang, Damon, they were like, I ain't gonna front. When I sang, they was like, they would go up. Either one like that. But I had a lot of experiences in the office with Damon. One time we're in the office, we had a meeting. Oh, this is funny. So when I got signed to Jay, before I got signed to Jay, all right, so there's a thing when you have a management and your manager, I guess, supposed to find your deal. I found my so I had a manager at the time, but I found my deal. Jay is, I got signed through Jay, but Jay said come up to the label. So my manager ain't find that for me. So do you get rid of your manager or you keep him? I'm asking you.
Oh, I thought this was rhetorical. I don't know. I mean,
it's your choice.
I guess it's the job for the manager to get you to that point. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like that situation is a little different than most situations. So
okay,
I don't know.
I kept him.
I respect that.
Because so what? Like you was there with me from on the grind coming up. You was running around doing this for me, doing that for me, help still getting me in the studio with people. So what? I found my deal.
That's respectable. That's respectable for sure.
So when I got to the label, when I got there, they told me, Damien Dash told me, pulled me aside, said, "All right, I went in the room first, and he was like, so you got your deal based on Jay. So your manager out there, you could basically you have options right now because you got yourself this deal. You know that, right? So basically, you have a choice right now that he could get the boot, basically, or you could just keep him." And I said, "Nah, I'm keeping him." And they respected that. So I had a manager for a couple of months, and it was just a little crazy because our manager was doing certain things, and and Damien would find out because he was taking our music to other labels and everything while we were signing. Actually, before we signed, he was doing that because for a couple of months they watch you. So when you get signed to a label, sometimes when people interested and you go to a label, they don't just sign you all the time. Everybody don't get lucky like the Rihannas and just get signed on the spot.
Right.
So it takes time. You still have to draw up the contract. So during the contract, that might be 2 or 3 months. So you're hanging around, you're coming up to the label for 2 or 3 months, you're hanging around, and introducing you to the A&Rs and getting set up, and they passing you, up and coming artists coming around. Mind you, we talking about 1997, 1998. All right?
Right.
So like there was so many people coming up and dropping so many CDs up to the label. And I'm talking about for Jay, they was dropping because they didn't know us yet, but I think we signed, I think I signed probably like June. I think I went up there like March. Let me see, January, February. I think I went there in February and got signed like June. I must have really signed like the paperwork. And when we signed, I mean, long story short, when we would have meetings. That's where I was going at with it. So we go in the room with Damien. We sitting there, we have meetings. It used to be so interesting. Damien Dash be sitting there getting his toes done. 2 lawyers got his feet up on the thing. 2 lawyers sitting there. One lawyer sitting there. One lawyer. I'm like, yo, this dude is crazy. But he was living his best life.
Of course.
I got a chance to see Biggie straight up like.
Oh, you gotta talk to me about that.
Yeah, I got a chance to see Biggie Smalls, Little Kim. Who else was under them? I think Junior Mafia. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw them rehearsing, and I got a chance to go to their showcase and watch them perform. This was like, yeah, when they first started coming out. Biggie ain't even have his album out yet either. They was all working on the album. Jay and Biggie was both working on their albums, Reasonable Doubt and Life After Death. And I was in the beginning of that. I got a chance to see all that before those albums came out. And I saw how Jay moved, and I was like, oh, so this is what you gotta do. You gotta keep putting fire after fire. But it was funny because that's what we did in the hood before.
Right.
So I was like, oh, so this is like the same shit. Like all I gotta do is just keep putting fire in your face. I just lost a little focus because my mother died in January.
Oh. Mm.
That January, my mother died.
Condolences.
I signed like 2 months after that. So I was a little, mentally, I was just a little off. And I think that's what kind of threw me off because I had so many hits I could just do in their face. But these were like potential hits because it's like you're writing these songs. I wrote this song, Little Things. And, you like, you just needed like a production around it and things like that. But we ended up going with the crazy first. And I don't know. I think we should have went up tempo.
Maybe. I mean, especially to fit the like the vibe of that soundtrack. Like
Yeah.
that's probably like the one song that's like the outlier because it's slower than all the rest of them for the most part. So yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. We should have went up tempo. So, but yeah, I saw a lot. I got a chance to hang out with Damon. I done went to funerals with Damon Dash, jumped in the car with him, went, like we all was like family. Like all of everybody, hip hop, F sharp, everybody up there at the label, everybody was mad cool. They were like the A&Rs. They would
Right.
hear you sing and they'd be like, yo, that's nice. You nice. And I don't know, I think it would be great to get a chance to be able to go off on a label. That's why I really want to go off on a label because I want the world to see that I can do way bigger, and I think I can do things like I can mirror what R. Kelly did. I can mirror what Luther Vandross did. Like, because I'm that artist. Like, I can go from doing ballads to R. Kelly hip hop. I can do the best of
Yeah,
both
talk
worlds with
talk
Jay.
that talk.
I can
Talk
handle
that
doing the
talk.
best of both worlds with Jay without Jay standing there monitoring me. Jay could go have a glass of champagne. Just that's where you left off at. I could do the same thing. Go in there, just add my part, boom, 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 and then pick,
I,
then set up the next level for him to come in, do some harmonies and on boom, 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 boom. I'm that good with it.
all right.
So
Well, it sounds like we need a best of both for us three. I'm working my little A&R magic. We gonna put something together. Jay, holla at
man,
me, man. We about to put something together.
I'm serious. When I first heard best of both worlds, I was like, wow, that's me all day. That's what I can do. Like I like going back and forth. I'm good with just all that type of stuff. So yeah, um, being on the big label is important. It's important to be on a big label. Yeah, it's a machine, and yeah, it's like you. Like the only difference with that now is just people steer the direction that you should go, but I'm already set in my own way. So anything that you add to me, you can't take away. I'm already solid. I have a solid ground of who I am. So I think it's better now for me to be a part of something now than if I was younger.
Okay, so just for clarity purposes, how long was you at Roc-A-Fella?
That's a good question. I think 4 years, 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so from 96 to 99, 2000-ish.
Yeah, because that's when they had the. I think the fallout with them was like around 2000, but it was not so much the fallout with them. It was because you got to understand, Jazzo produced my single, so I was kind of stuck.
Gotcha. Okay.
So my song got on shelf, and then it was just so much going on. So, yeah, we part ways around 2000, I would say.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I think it's safe to say, as a listener of music and just growing up through that whole Roc-A-Fella era, like for me, that was like the best time, like growing up with Roc-A-Fella, Rough Riders, Murder Inc., like just all of those, all of
Yeah,
those
Chris.
conglomerates. It was amazing because everywhere you looked, it was a hit record at the hit record, a superstar of growing, blowing up here and there. And for me, like just seeing like how Roc-A-Fella was just built with Jay and Dame and Biggs at the helm, and then you had so many amazing artists, a part of the label,
Right.
Dipset, um,
Hmm.
it's just so many people, Young Gun, State Property, like
Right.
it was perfect. And then for me, like I sit and I think sometimes about the potential people that were supposed to go there too. And we gonna get into our top five conversation too. But I think about some of the people that were supposed to go, like Big L was supposed to sign the Roc-A-Fella before he tragically passed away, and that's my favorite rapper of all time. So
Yeah,
having
him and
him,
Jay battle, right? Did they battle in the streets?
yeah, I believe so, or they was in a freestyle together
Yeah, that was
on
dope.
Stretch Barbito.
He probably, I kind of feel like if he was alive, he probably would have been with Rock Nation. They would have been doing something together.
Yeah, like just thinking about like so many people, like Biggie might have been there. Like Jay said, they was gonna have a commission that could have been on Roc-A-Fella. Who knows? Like you
It's,
had Jay, Biggie, like the roster would have been crazy, is what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. They was already number one, and they would have had a crazier roster.
yeah, I think it would have been crazy because, yeah, Biggie and Jay was cool. Yeah, that's how I met Biggie, through Jay. Like, I was just always there around, you got a chance to meet with Diamonds in the Rough and Rel and everybody on the label, all
Hmm.
the label mates. You had Chris John, you had Myth
Man,
Bleak.
you saying some names, man. You go, you throwing you that's a throwback right there. Some
Chris
names
John,
right there.
the
Yeah,
they had Full of Smoke. They came in smoking. Those brothers came in killing it. They produced, they did everything on their own too. So it was like really good because you can save a lot of money like that. That was
absolutely.
the other thing I learned in the business. So you just start learning things from people. Everybody was real nice. And to be honest with you, I I can't regret nothing because I was supposed to live that life. You
Right.
know, I'm I don't, you know, I guess years ago, like when you're young, you don't understand what's going on, and you realize, like, wait, hold up, I still have the space to say whatever I like. I can still touch the people. I can still put my music out. Somewhere down the line, I can jump in a situation. Yeah, I'm still in preparation. I feel like I'm still on the road right now on it, and the more I perfect my craft, it's going to make sense somewhere down the line later. So I never stopped. But I don't understand, to be honest with you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I had to say this to myself one of my friends, God bless, rest in peace. He died a couple of years ago of
Rest in peace.
diabetes. Took him out. He threatened me about 10 years ago. He was like, he, he would come over the house, all my new stuff, all my old stuff, and I would make CDs for him. And this one we had the all Mac in one. They have this Mac all in one where you could just put the CDs on the side,
Hmm.
and I would burn the CDs for him. Now that's old school, but this was like
Right.
that's only 10 years ago. Now think about it. Yeah, that's only 10 years ago, maybe 8. And I still have that Mac because I just pulled that Mac out because I have a lot of music that I didn't transfer over. And I would burn CDs for him and make him a nice playlist. And he would come over every couple of months because he moved to the same complex. We moved from Brooklyn to Jersey, and then he moved in the same complex to be near me. So he would come over, get an update on my music. But I didn't know that he was going to try to take my stuff to a label. He was sick of me. He was like, "Nah, I'm taking your stuff to a major label."
Hmm.
And okay. So yeah, he threatened me. He said, "I'm gonna take your stuff to a label." And I kind of said, "Don't do that." I don't know, because I always kind of felt like it ain't ready. It needs to be, something's missing. And I think I was learning how to sing on the mic where it ain't overkill because I have a strong voice and you have to
Right.
learn the voice. And then my guy that was mixing, when I used to do all these highs, he used to be, when he mixed it, the highs used to stand up too much. So now I had to learn how to work with him. So I know how to kind of record. If I'm doing certain highs, I don't have to do it so hard because he's going to pop it. And then it's not going to make me mad because I
So,
don't like.
so let me ask you that. So like you being an artist, right? And I like to ask artists that come on the HolloTalk podcast this question: how important do you feel it is to have an elite level producer?
I
Does that
mean,
make all the difference?
all the difference. And
Okay.
I have that now. I'm there now.
Come on, talk to me.
I have that now. I just met this guy named David Cisco.
Okay,
Um,
shouts out to him.
yeah, he's running a studio with 39th Street, Lounge Studios, 39th Street. Check that out. This guy's really good. When I tell you this guy, he's my inspiration when it comes. But I do have a couple of producers that are like that. I have Shanghai, which is one of my. We're signed to the same management. He can make stuff up from scratch. Um, um, I have Frank Cook, which is the guy that rap too, that we have a project together. He can make stuff. Everybody, I'm around a lot of people now. I'm around most producers now. I can tell them how I want my track to be.
Gotcha.
So I'm in that space now. It's no longer, but I'm still doing the other stuff too. Like I might still get a track that's already together and I just jump on it. But now it's like, we gonna dance now. This new sound, ooh, we can move instruments around and this guy do live instruments. When you hear this track, this new track I'm working on, everything, put it like this. When I went to him to do one song, his sound is so nice because he do everything with live instruments. I can't even put it side by side with the MP3s that I already have recorded. So I
Right.
have to do an album with him because it's not going to work. His sound is too rich. You got all these live instruments. Then I can't put it side by side with, even though the other tracks are nice, but tracks and live instruments is a big difference. When
Yeah.
it's a big difference. So yes, it's very important to work with elite, but at the same time, you have to be elite too.
No,
You can't
absolutely.
you have to get yourself to a level where you're that good. The track should, if the track is amazing, then your goal is to be amazing on, you don't have to overkill, but you still have to be just as good. See what I'm saying? As the
No,
elites, because they don't
that's
want
a
to work with
fact.
you anyway.
That's a
They
fact
don't want to work with
because
you. You're not. Yeah, you gotta be ready.
no, and the reason I asked that question is because like I want to say it's a conversation that happens like in the music world, like
Mhm.
amongst just fans or even musicians themselves. Like, what's more important, the lyrics or the track, like the production and beat, whatever you wish to call it, right? And for me, I
It's
like
probably
I,
production.
that's what I was saying. Like for me, it was lyrics before like I really started to understand like the ins and outs of music. So I would say 60% production, 40% what you saying on the track. Whereas I was 60-40 the other way before.
Um, See, yeah, yeah. I think yeah, because if the track is already fire, let's say for instance, Cisco. Do you really know what he said on that song? If you don't go download the lyrics on Thong Thong, he was like, "That girl is scared of some scared. Let me see that thong," right?
No, right, right.
But I love Cisco. Shout out to Cisco.
For
Let me tell you
sure.
something.
Shouts out to Cisco.
He was Drew Hill. He already
Okay.
showed you he's nice.
Yeah,
Like Drew Hill
absolutely.
gave you all that. But on that one song, that one thong song, I don't even know to this day what the hell I was saying. All I know was like all night long. You right?
Facts. That's 100% true.
It was like a lot of more chanting. And but I think if he would have tried to do clear words, it probably wouldn't have been a hit like that. So you got to know when you're supposed to be able to do certain things a certain way. And I kind of feel like on purpose he did that like that because if he tried to be overthinking about that track,
Hmm.
the beat was just so fire. He didn't have to do
Right.
nothing but just get to let me see that song.
Exactly. It was a fun song, and it's definitely a place for music like that to have just some fun, laid back type,
Yeah,
fun music. It don't have to be super serious, about everything that's going on or whatever the case may be. Sometimes people just want to party, and who don't like dogs, right?
yeah, exactly. And so I would say it's 100% the track because I'm gonna tell you because if the track ain't fire, I can't be uh how I'm gonna upgrade me if the track ain't upgraded. So that's
Right.
what I'm working on now, to be honest. My next level is to get better production and live. Like now I got this guy live instruments, so I'm going back into like my old stuff I'm pulling them like, ooh, this song is hot. But if I send it to this guy and he do this with live instruments, it's gonna make it bigger. And then when I perform, I can be so what's another word for cocky, confident.
Hmm.
I'm more confident on stage because I'm like, woof, I can stop. That shit gonna be like boom, boom, boom. Like you just feel yourself when you jump back in when you want because the track is just taking care of you that much.
Hmm.
So that's where I'm at with it now because I really, I'm not. this might sound cocky, but I can really sing.
That's not
So because
cocky.
I'm really
You
good at
believe
what
in
I'm
your
doing,
you believe in your talents as you
yeah,
should.
right. So because I'm, I know me, I can handle it. I need it to be big, like where it's just gonna make me say, "Woo!" Now I'm about to go off, and it's just challenging yourself. Like when I listen to a lot of stuff, and I'm like, you know what? And then all the producers that I worked with in the past, they're all working on their new sound too to get better.
Hmm.
Everybody should be working on the best them. And I kind of like simplicity. Sometimes I don't like too much going on. So I like to have a little control over what should be moved and to move this around. I need this out the way because
Right.
I'm an instrument. Don't be flooding me with too much. So I just need to be able to have that control. So I don't know. I'm this body of music I'm about to put out. Who knows when I'm gonna drop it? Hopefully soon. And I think I do have a concept. I think the name of this new project is going to be called TV, Tunnel Vision.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Say less. And there's a play on the name, so that's always a win.
yeah, that's what I think this name is. I think I want to name it that. And I do have a couple of tracks, but I've been sitting on this for like almost 2 years now, working on this during the pandemic, and it's coming out really nice. Now it's time to just clean it up. But I had to take a break for 6 months. I didn't listen to music for 6 months. I really did. I didn't want to hear that album. So now when you go back to it, now I'm in the middle of getting it together now. I got one song that David Cisco just did with the live instruments. It's called Iconic.
Oh, okay. All right. Good.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think I let you hear it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So the iconic track, everything now has to go around that because the production is just that big. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, as far as I'm concerned, I am very, very much looking forward to hearing the final product. Absolutely. I mean, everything else you let me hear so far has been nothing but extraordinary. So
Appreciate it.
I can't wait to hear a lot of the stuff you got coming out, especially the joint that we was talking about earlier, where you was breaking everything down that happened with everything that you went through with Roc-A-Fella and all that other stuff too. So I can't wait to hear that for sure. But
Shout out to Roc-A-Fella
yeah,
Records
yeah, shouts out to Roc-A-Fella Records. But listen, ladies,
and the
oh,
whole
oh, oh,
crew.
go ahead. What'd you say?
Shout out to that whole crew. Everybody. Colleen,
Absolutely.
yeah, all of them. Colleen, F Sharp, Hip Hop. I
Hmm.
know I'm missing a lot of people. Dora and all of them. All those people are still around.
No, listen, we gonna shout out a lot of people, but listen, we're gonna take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with more of the HolloTalk Podcast with Jetpack Nick and my guy TV. We'll be right
You're
back.
yeah.
Welcome back, everybody, to the HolloTalk Podcast. We had to take a little bit of a break, a little commercial break, but we're back with Jetpack Nick and my guy TV, Tavares TV.
That's what I'm talking about. What's up, y'all?
Absolutely. So, we talked about a lot of different things, like a lot of cool stuff, a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of informational stuff, 411 for the people who was listening earlier. So
Oh
let's get into the fun stuff.
yeah.
So I actually want to take some time out to, say thank you to you and big you up. Because when I met you, you ain't have to show me love like you show me love. So for that, I have to thank you. I've thanked you like off the record, but I want to thank you on the record too. For the people that's gonna listen to this and that's gonna see this, so that way they understand like the impact that was made.
Gotcha.
So we met at Made in America. For people who don't know what Made in America is, it's a festival, like one of the biggest festivals that happens every year.
In
Uh,
Benjamin Park, right?
right. It's it ran by Jay-Z and Roc Nation and that whole conglomerate. That was my first time there, so for that, like I talk a little bit about my experience just going before I talk about my experience with you all. Uh, my first time being there, it was an amazing experience. being around like so many dope creatives, so many dope musicians, like the whole nine, like so many important people was there, especially for me,
Right.
being that I run a podcast. So why not go to a place like that where it's so many amazing people who do so many amazing things who may not have a platform to discuss those amazing things that they do,
Right.
right? Like I'm pretty sure you didn't do podcasts like that, or if ever, honestly. But here you are on the HolloTalk podcast talking
Uh,
about some amazing
I don't
things.
know. This might be my first time. I don't think I've done a podcast before.
Oh well, listen, we making history. Like I told the people in the beginning, we gonna make some history today.
History in the makings, man. Sounds so beautiful. Don't you agree?
You already know. No, so yeah, so saying all that to say, like my experience at Made in America for the first time was very, very, very amazing. Like I met so many amazing people, you and everybody that in your camp. Like shouts out to everybody. Shouts out to your brother Q. Shouts out to Miss Gloria. Shouts out to the whole camp. It was an amazing experience to meet y'all and for y'all to just bring me in the way that y'all did, because y'all ain't have to do that. Like I just
But we were
happened to,
genuine.
for
We
sure.
real people at the end of the day. We're all real people, and it's all about the vibe. It's energy. We're about energy. Like sometimes people think like let's say for instance, they say, "Oh, this celebrity," because some celebrities get so big to the point where it's like we put these things in our heads like they're not normal. Like
Right.
people thinking they're shitting in a gold toilet bowl, like the whole toilet bowl is 18 karat gold. I'm not doing that. Like just like some people just think. Now I'm not saying me personally, but it's like you think so much. Like when you meet celebrities, sometimes you meet celebrities. Be honest with you, they could be your idol, and the worst thing you could do is meet a celebrity that you always looked up to, and then they treat you fucked up
Right.
because it'll throw you off and it mess with your feelings. Because you're thinking like, damn, you were my friend in my head for so long. Then I meet you, you're horrible. There's a lot of people that have those type of experiences. Not saying that I'm a celebrity. I guess I am a celebrity because I was out and I signed to a label in the '90s. But I'm just saying, like, no matter how big I get, if I ever get big as an artist like that, I will never treat people like not fairly. Now it's all about the energy, and your energy was dope. You held a great conversation, and I thought it was real nice when you took a picture with Miss Carter, and he was like, "Wait, I don't like this angle. I want to take it up." And she did it right. She didn't feel
No,
uncomfortable.
for sure. And again, to her,
Yeah,
I appreciate that, just the fact that she was even willing to take the picture with me and have a conversation and allow me
yeah,
the space opportunity to share with her. Like I got a podcast, and I want to say she told you to take a picture of my shirt because I had my Hollow Talk podcast shirt on at the time.
yeah.
Like,
She did.
I got the hoodie right here, shouts out to the Hollow Talk podcast brand.
And I will be playing this interview for her, so don't worry about that.
Oh, absolutely. And if we're able to make it happen, I would definitely love to have Miss Gloria come on the How Talk podcast so I could talk to her about, her life and what she does and the whole nine. If she's willing to do that, hopefully we can make that happen.
You only gonna know if you only put yourself out there, right?
Well, that's why I'm saying it on the record right
Yeah.
now.
You only gonna know. That's why people that say, look, to be the best, you have to move forward, and um, you have to lose yourself along the way. You gotta try things. You get a bunch of no's. You gotta get a bunch of no's to get a yes on top of that.
Absolutely. But again, like I said, just like saying all that to say, like it was just dope for me to be in that space with everybody and be able to make my mark and stand out the way that I did. Cause like I didn't really go in with no crazy intentions of like, oh, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Like I wanted to go have fun, enjoy the atmosphere, but definitely like talk to different people and like make different connections. But like when I had met y'all, like it was like oh shit, like
Yeah, it was cool.
but I didn't know that until like I talked to y'all. Like I just was talking to y'all on some regular type conversation, and everybody that was there I spoke to. Like I didn't just speak to one specific person. Like a bunch of different people was coming up that you guys are associated with, and I
Right.
want to say you and your brother Q, like y'all definitely took the initiative to be like, yo, this my man Nick, man, like he got a podcast, like tap in with him and this that and the third. So for me, that was like seeing that, because not everybody's gonna do that. Like no matter if you know them for 20 years, 20 minutes, like not everybody's gonna do that for you. So the fact that I met y'all just off the strength of that conversation, and y'all was like, yo, like this my man, like
Right.
tap in with him, like that meant the world to me. And the fact that we was able to carry on like a relationship, and we was able to, be here sharing this time and space on the HolloTalk podcast, that only adds to, what we did that day. So for that, I'm definitely grateful for you and everybody else that I talked to that day.
It's an honor to be here with you and to even meet you, you know what I'm saying, to be friends with you and to be able to add to your, this is what you're doing. Like you're following your dreams. Like you're doing something productive and you're getting out to the people. So I appreciate that. So to be a part of that, I'm on board.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate that, being able to have support just in general, let alone people that you just met. It's like you're really making a impact, and you're really doing something solid with like what I got going on. And like I guess again, like I talked to you on the record, so you listen to a few different episodes, and you've always given me some great feedback. I don't know if you want to talk about your experience listening to the podcast right now, but
no, serious. When I it was a nice late night when I put the headphones in. I was like, okay. And I was really enjoying it. I listened to, first of all, the first one I listened to was the wrap up. I thought that was good because I got a chance to, when I go into your page and I ain't go listen to like no podcast. I actually listened to the wrap up because that's what was in my face.
Right.
You were just finishing season, what was that?
Season 4.
4. And I listened to wrap up and I thought you and that, what's your friend name?
Dope Queen.
Dope Queen. Great conversation. I like her personality. I like y'all together because she has one way she view things. You have another way. I can tell y'all really respect each other, like a lot.
Yeah.
And when you look at that and you like, and there's a lot of things, she was saying up there that just made a lot of sense. I enjoyed it. And then I think it was another one that was really one of my favorites too. It was a lot, but that was one of my favorites because you asked the homeboy about his top 5. What was that one?
The Snipe Luciano episode.
That was one of my favorites. I like him.
Shouts out to Snipe.
He handled that very well, and I'm like, shout out to that guy because I felt that one. I kind of felt like I was in the conversation with y'all.
Right.
I'm like in there with y'all, and like when stuff like he's talking, he's telling the story, and you asking that, and then I was just like. I said it to myself, like, what? Like, I was like, oh shit, like, where you gonna go? Where you gonna go with this one? Because I know you didn't mean it that way, but it's just like, and to everybody that don't know what we're talking about, you have to go check out that.
Absolutely.
So what episode was that? That was
Snipe Luciano.
You got to check that one out because it was interesting, and he was really cool, and he handled that well, and he's like, wait, like, damn, I'm not trying to, like, how not in your top 5, but he explained. He grew up in a household, and I grew up like that. Like, there's people had Jay as their fans, and then there's siblings that had Nas as their fans, and it was a whole big argument. And that's how it was with us. It's about the whole who's the best rapper alive, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. So it's like, it's kind of cool. So are we going into the top 5 since we already?
I mean, if you're done talking about your experience listening to the podcast, let's go.
Yeah, and what other one? I think
I think you listened to a few of them. I definitely sent a few your way for sure that I thought was good listens.
But those two I really, really analyzed really well. I think the other ones I have to really go back and listen. I think how you start listening to something and then you have other things going on,
right?
And it's not good when you stop.
Oh yeah, you definitely got to tap in, man. We be dropping gems on the HolloTalk Podcast,
man. Yeah, I ain't gonna. You really handle your guests really well. I commend you for that.
Well, I appreciate that, but if I could be quite honest, shouts out to all the guests I've had on the HolloTalk Podcast, but y'all make my job easy. Like for one, y'all come with so much like to y'all as far as y'all life story, so that gives me content to talk about. And 2, okay, so I'll ask the question because like I can only assume, but right. I feel like y'all instill a lot of trust in me to have these open conversations about things that you might not talk about let alone in private, but on a recorded
Right.
podcast. Like, like
Mhm.
do you feel like that's something that you felt yourself personally, or that you feel like
Absolutely.
my guests have felt too?
Because I can be on a lot of podcasts. A lot of people ask me to be a part of things, but I don't know. Maybe we didn't follow up, or maybe it wasn't just the right time. I mean, so there's people, when you come across, you can feel the energy. You can feel you feel a sincerity with the energy, and then you just like, I don't know, just good timing. I don't know, something about going to Made America, because this is the second time I met somebody that I became cool with. Not
Right.
just somebody that was just like, oh, we changed numbers, we changed social medias. I mean, what we
Hmm.
Facebook, whatever,
Hmm.
Instagram, and then we changed numbers and we stayed in touch.
Right.
So it's not really that often when you go to like events like that and you come back with a friend. You meet somebody new and then you're like, wait, maybe it's something I could do to add to your life. We're in the same field. You in podcast,
Absolutely.
doing music. I need people to hear my story. People buy into who you are as a person. So it's like, I want people to hear my music. I want to get my music more out there. And if I have to do this, to not saying I will want this all, I have to do everything possible to be able to be heard for the people. And then on your end, it's the same thing. So it's a win-win. You know, that's how I look at it.
Absolutely.
So,
No, well, I
so
mean, again, like,
definitely because of you, it's not like there's personalities, but people can't. We would have been sitting there now, I would have been like, oh no, don't ask me this, don't ask me this, don't ask me that, don't ask me that. If I got to do all that with you, then we don't need
mhm.
to be doing nothing.
Right. And so again, like, and so with that being said, it's like, again, I have to thank y'all for instilling that level of trust in me, because like the last thing I would want to do is have y'all come on here looking crazy. Like, for one, that looks bad on me. Like, why you got these people looking crazy? Like, that's not my intention to ever do that. Like, I want to, make my guests look the best they possibly can look, while also feeling comfortable to talk about things that they may not have felt comfortable talking about in spaces that they frequent. Like, I'm pretty sure I don't have to tell you, but a lot of us don't feel comfortable talking about anything, honestly, in a lot of the spaces that we frequent. So at least you got a public forum where you can come on here, have amazing conversations,
Right,
something that you could leave with some new information, or just a laugh, or just be entertained. Like,
right,
this is something that I really, really hold in high esteem. Like, this is something that I take very serious, because not only am I building something for people to just listen to or whatever, but this is a long lasting legacy. Like, there's no telling what these people could do later on. Be like, damn, bro, like I got that archive footage, like on the HolloTalk podcast, we was talking about this, that, or third.
right.
Or those people could look back and be like, damn, like I really was there 10 years ago, like, and I
Yeah,
came so far, and just
right,
being able to document that, not only for my own personal archive or whatever, but
right.
it's dope to have the guests be able to have something that they could look back on and say, yo, like that
My
was a
bad.
dope
Right,
ass
further.
conversation. Oh, do your thing. Listen, this the fun part of the conversation, so we could do stuff like that. You're not eating a burger on nobody else's podcast, but they not letting it fly.
Man,
Oh man. But yeah, again, like I just really wanted to take that little bit of time out to say thank you to you, thank you to your brother Q, thank you to Miss Gloria, and thank you to everybody else that was there and embraced me with open arms. That really meant a lot to me. Just to know that it was being accepted off the strength of who I am and how I carry myself in that situation, and further on. So I thank y'all
thank you
for
for
that.
being you.
I
Thank you for being
appreciate
you.
that.
Because if you wasn't you, it wouldn't work, right? Like
Absolutely.
conversation, and I asked you a question. You was like, we in the park. Most of the young people in the park, everybody's already like. By the time you see 4 o'clock hit, everybody's wasted
Hmm.
in that park. Like they be in there drinking. Some of them pregame before they get in the park.
Hmm.
Everybody be so drunk in the park because I mean, I guess that's what the festival. You're eating. There's vendors, there's food, and then there's beers and stuff, whatever they drinking, and
Hmm.
like all these drink stands. Just even have a conversation, and you wasn't drinking. You know what I'm saying? You're level headed. You said something to me. I was like, Wow, that makes a whole lot of sense. I think I asked you. I was like,
I
oh
know
yeah,
when I told you I was like, see, I don't drink or smoke or nothing like that because for
yeah.
one, how would I have been able to have this conversation with y'all if I was inebriated? Like that would have been a crazy look if I walked up to you and Q and Miss Gloria and I was all over the place like. Now I just messed
It's,
up an opportunity because I wanted to get drunk. Like I'm cool. Like,
and some people don't mean no harm because there's people did come up on us like that, and
right.
you know, already now you're
Mhm.
already getting pushed back because it's too much, like, and so that makes a lot of sense. You sacrifice certain things to be able to get where you need to be to stay focused, and I respect that. That's not easy because it seems like the world today, everybody drink,
Yeah.
you know, especially when you're partying, right? So it's like,
Yeah,
wow,
that's a fact.
like it's not wrong with it. It's just you
Yeah,
have
yeah, I'm
to
about to
cut
say,
it
yeah,
out.
I'm not knocking nobody that do what they do or whatever. Like everybody got their own ways of having fun. It's just not my particular. So
This is your fun right here.
yeah, exactly. Like just having dope conversations with dope ass people and making dope content.
Right. Well, this is good.
Yeah, for sure. So again, like I said, just thank you to you, thank you to Q, thank you to Miss Gloria, thank you to Jay and Rock Nation for even having the event.
Word, right?
Yeah, for sure. So shouts out and shouts out to everybody else that I met too at Made in America who I didn't mention. Like I truly appreciate y'all too. Like everybody really made my experience a good one. I'm glad we was able to do it, have fun, listen to some dope music, and network. Like it was an amazing experience, and I definitely can't wait to do it again next year.
Yeah, it was really I enjoyed this Made in America, and this call was nice.
Yeah, it was. So speaking about artists or whatever, can we finally get into this top five conversation? Cause uh I
Oh,
need to know your top five. You've been keeping it under wraps for a little minute. So now it's time to bring it to the forefront.
I I dude, don't get me in trouble.
I'm not gonna get you in trouble. You don't have to answer this question.
All right, so here's the thing. I'm weird because let's say this. I'm gonna keep my Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas at the top of my top five, right?
Okay, are they in a specific order? The people need to know this.
Of course.
Okay, what's the order?
Come on now.
Listen, I don't know. You could surprise me.
Jay, Biggie, Nas.
Okay. Okay. I'm not mad at it. I respect it.
If I have to put it that way, but I'm gonna be honest, no order. I don't
Okay.
think there should be an order in that. Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. I just like the way that sounds. But growing up, yeah, that's why I listened to Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. The other two windows, I'm not gonna front. Drake, I'm gonna go by who I'm listening to. Like this project that Drake put out with the little house music and stuff like that, the little groove and stuff. A lot of people don't like it. I like it, but I do like every time Drake put out an album, there's always one or two songs on the album that make me want to sing along. Because he basically, I kind of feel like Drake has this monotone sound for good singers to harmonize with.
Right.
And I'll be killing it with him. I hear stuff. So he's going up in my top five for that.
Okay.
He always do that. Even when he did Mine with Beyonce. That I just want to say your mind, oh mine. Right?
Yeah.
So I got to put Drake up there in the top five because he's doing this thing. I like 2 Chainz. I like Jack Harlow. I don't think he's in my top five. I just met him. So I only heard one
Okay.
song. I can't say that. I like him with the freestyle. 2 Chainz is dope. I like Jada Kiss is my guy.
Okay. That's see
So I'm gonna do more than
now we get into my
yeah. This is my top 10.
Oh, all
Like
right,
Jada Kiss.
okay.
I got Fabulous up there with me. That's my guy. Who else? There's a couple of people I might miss. Who else that really grabs me? It's not really. I don't know. I got to think about it. But there's a bunch of people that I like. I don't know.
Okay, all right. So let me rephrase the question a little bit so I can make it easier on you, or who knows? Maybe this might be a harder question. But do you have like a top five just musicians, period? Like any genre, or like a five that influenced you the most? Either
All
one.
right, Lauryn Hills,
Okay, Lauren Hill.
Beyonce, Usher. Usher's my
Okay.
number one.
Oh, okay, all right. I ain't mad at that at all. Usher is he one of the ones.
Yeah, he's my number one. Like R. Kelly used to be my number one. Usher's there. Usher's my number one guy. Like when I first, when I started learning who I was and I heard Usher, I was like, wow, like Usher, I don't know, just I liked his music and I was like looked up to him. I kind of feel like I grew with him, along with like R. Kelly. I feel like we all started around the same time. And but listening to Usher, his growth and a lot of things that he's still relevant, he's doing his thing. I love Usher.
Right.
So Usher,
Shout out
Lauryn
to
Hills.
Usher.
I was a big Lauryn Hills fan in 2000. I'm talking about to the point where I went to the concert. I sang every song on that album, and I got a chance to meet her on the
Oh,
elevator.
oh yeah. Talk to me about that story, please.
I went to the BET Awards, so I was invited to the BET Awards, and this was the year Beyonce and Destiny Child did "Cater to You" that year,
Okay.
and I was in a Renaissance Hotel, I think. Yeah, I think we was all in the Renaissance Hotel, and I was on the elevator, and I got on the elevator, mind you. I was in love with Lauryn Hills. Like I felt like Lauryn Hills was my idol because now I'm like, wow, I got somebody that does everything that I like to do. I like to rap and sing.
Right.
Like, wow, Lauren. When I saw Lauren, I ain't gonna fry, I froze. I froze when I saw her. Got on the elevator. She was standing right there, and I was just like, oh shit. And I was with my boy, but he's like 7'5".
Damn.
Maybe taller than that. Like, so they was just looking at us. Um, I couldn't say nothing. She was actually going to perform. And I just looked at her. She looked at me when she gave me eye contact. I said, I want just like that.
That's the queen, man.
Queen. That's all I'm gonna say. She was like, thank you. Cause she seemed like, I don't know, I felt like because I'm an artist, I know not to, when people in the middle of working on projects, you be in your head
Right.
before you go on the stage. And she was going on stage. And I was like, I don't want to say nothing. This ain't the right time. You're in the elevator, I could tell she was getting in that mood.
Mm-hmm.
You could feel it. And I know she's sensitive. Like when it comes to, she can't get thrown off.
Right.
I could feel that. So I didn't want to throw off and go crazy. I was just like, oh my God, love the album. And I just went like this. Queen. That's it. She was just like, no. She's like, thank you, and whatever. And then she got off the elevator. And when she got off the elevator, I was just like, oh my God.
That was Lauryn Hill, man.
But I ain't gonna front. Like, I don't know. It's weird because some celebrities, I ain't gonna front. I don't know. Sometimes, like a lot of celebrities, you see them on TV and whatever, and then you see them in person, you don't even realize it's them.
Right.
That happened to me a lot. And then Q or somebody would be like, dude, you know that? So I'm like, oh shit. So you get that. But I don't know. I'm just used to, I don't know. I'm used to being around a lot of celebrities, but I don't bother them. If that makes sense. I just
No,
leave people alone.
I respect it. I respect it.
I'd rather be seen for a nice amount of years and you see me enough. Then when I do say something to you, now you can't front on me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm hanging out with Top Dog. I'm a VIP with Top Dog now. Don't get it twisted. You in my section. You know what I'm saying? But you just, I don't know. You always want to give people the space because they're humans at the end of the day, and you're friends with them in there. Your friend. It's weird because you're friends with these celebrities in your head.
Right.
So, like they say, beehives, and you got the Barbs, and all these Cardi gangs and all these type like people. So when you meet them, you just gotta be real careful because they might be in a headspace and you say the wrong thing, then you mess up their mood and they react a certain way and you thinking that they was being nasty to you, but it's not that. They're going through something. They might be trying to remember how they gonna get on stage, what they're gonna say. They go through all these type of things. Yep. So when I met Lauryn Hills, I was like, yep. So Lauryn Hills is up there. I mean, my old top, like let's my catalog: Stevie Wonder,
Okay.
um, Marvin Gaye, the Ozzy Brothers.
Yeah,
Um,
there you go.
um, this is where I grew up listening to. What's Jamie Foxx,
Yeah,
number one guy come back.
yeah.
Like
Shouts
he
out to
was,
Jamie Foxx.
he was another one when I was a kid. I had to learn myself through him by listening. I sang one of his songs. Um, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on My Love. Right? And I was like, yo, when I heard that song, I was like, oh my God, if I could sing that song, I could really sing. I could just mirror, I'm like, ooh, it touches your heart. The Stevie Wonder, of course, Michael Jackson. I remember, like, I think I let you hear a cover I did of Michael Jackson.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I have a wide range of a lot of people. I'm talking about like old school. I love Anita Baker. Um, it's a lot of artists that I really love. Like, and then there's a lot of new people. You have a lot of new artists out. Well, but I gotta hear it. Like, I come across some stuff and I hear it, and I'm like, wait, hold up, let me check this out. Like, I like Tim,
Mm-hmm.
and then I like Wizkid. I like this new era with everybody jumping out there now. Of course, I like J. Cole. Like I don't. So I guess it's good that you asked me when to like type because I don't have a top five. I just have a bunch of people I love.
Right.
But I guess I do have a top five because I gave it to you, right? I gave it to you, but
You kind of sorta. You kind of sorta gave it to me.
I just love there's a lot of people. I feel they influence. Like even back in the days, you got Joe, the guy that did Great Big Town on Power.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just listened when I was a kid. Joe's album, if you don't know if you heard his albums, if you go back.
Yeah, I told you earlier. I'm an astute listener of music. Like I'm tapped in for sure.
Yeah, and that was the era when I listened to Joe. That's when I heard Drew Hill. I heard Joe to See.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was going through all the groups. 112, Jagged Edge, all these people. Even Day 26 got a nice album.
Yo, that's crazy. I got a friend that's a huge Day 26 fan.
Oh no, it's a lot of good music out there. Yeah, Day 26. I actually knew Q.
Oh,
Yeah, Q was like a little brother to me. Yeah, Q was like a little brother to me. We knew him. He's from Rochester.
Okay. The burger good, man.
Mm.
No.
I apologize.
No, you cool.
Mm.
Like, I'm gonna get you out of here in a second, Joe, so that way you can enjoy your meal without having to answer all these questions. All right, so before we officially wrap, is there anything that you want to ask me or you want to say? Anybody want to shout out? Whatever, anything.
Well, mommy, how you think I'm doing? I'm doing all right.
Yeah. We having an amazing episode. I told you we making history, man. Like this is something special. Like being able to like meet you and cultivate that relationship and ultimately have you on the HolloTalk podcast. Like the steps is aligning the way they need to. So just from me to you, I can't wait to see what we do next. Seriously.
Oh, I do have a question.
Oh, go ahead. Actually, go ahead.
I did mention like you have music on your podcast when your podcast come on, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Can a brother get a couple of bars up there to flavor?
Say less. When you ain't even gotta say nothing else. You
could
got
do
it.
something like I ain't trying to say I want to be stamped there forever, but you can actually move. Let's say if you got somebody rapping for the intro coming into your podcast, or I could sing on it. You can move it around every couple of weeks. Like I could be the guy for the month, and then it could be somebody else. That'll be something nice to add to your podcast.
Say less. We're gonna make it happen.
I'm always with the plug. I gotta plug me in. Plug it
in. You already. We're gonna make it happen. You need to say nothing else. We're gonna make that happen.
Make up like the track that's already planned, or something that's kind of that's for the intro.
Listen, I got you. Trust me when I tell you, I got you.
or what you think about for your podcast? What if you do the like a freestyle, like a monthly freestyle or something, where you could get a couple of people and then you could have it on your podcast where they can go on your podcast to see a freestyle of a couple of people. It don't have to be live. It could be send the track to a few people, and then it's just be the freestyle of the month, and then everybody freestyle to that track. It'd be a couple of R&B singers. That would be something nice for you.
Your brain is cooking. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
because you have the personality for it.
Yeah,
And
we gonna make that
you
happen.
know a lot about
I
music,
told you. I told you I dropped the hollow tape. Like I want to say season 3. I dropped the hollow tape. I had a lot of the artists that was on the HolloTalk podcast, and I put together a compilation tape for them so that people could listen to some of their music. So,
yeah.
we definitely tapped in. I'm an A&R on the side, just in case the right people listening. You know what I'm saying? If he wants to have a
Man,
brother a job on the A&R side, I'm your man.
again,
No, yeah, we definitely gonna make something happen for sure.
yeah. All right. So what? Anything else?
If you got any more questions or anything you want to say, but before we, get into that last little segment.
Well, I would say shout out to all those dope artists that was there at the Made in America for
For
2020
sure.
this year, and I'm gonna shout them out. Babs Bunny was headlining. He was dope. I didn't know nothing he was saying, but I had somebody
Yeah.
breaking everything down that happened. I was fortunate to be in there. Somebody who Spanish and knew his whole catalog and knew the whole story behind his new album. And I got to understand Babs Bunny a lot more. He was dope. Jasmine Sullivan killed it.
Absolutely.
She had me like, I was like, damn. There was another kid. His name was Jibs. And they said that he was a J. Cole's.
Oh, you talking about JID?
JID?
Yeah, JID. They call him Jid.
I knew nothing about him. I didn't know who J. Cole discovered him, whatever the case is. That kid is nice. I enjoyed
super nice. He just dropped the album not that long ago.
He killed it. Burna Boy killed it.
Yeah, Burna Boy joint was nice for sure.
Who else was there?
There was a lot of people. Larry June was there. Cora was there.
Yeah, that was really good. There was some really nice lineups, but that JID guy had me like, oh shit. I came out of VIP and went out there to see him. I was like, who the fuck is that? I was like, he had the crowd, good energy, man. Yeah, good energy. Yeah. So this was a good moment. I just wanted to kind of bring that up because we did talk about that's why we met.
Yeah.
We met. So I just wanted to kind of stamp remembering that moment because that was a good one.
All right. So listen. So we got a few minutes left. So we're gonna get into it. So like I said, it's customary to the HolloTalk podcast. At the end, my guest provides the people with 3 gems that they could take away from the conversation, apply to their everyday life. So would you please do us the honor of giving us 3 gems?
All right, let's go. I got a little bit more than 3 gems.
All right, say less.
I got a quote first, and then I'm gonna go into the gems.
All right.
So we cannot change the past. We can change the fact. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself along the way. Get it?
That's a bar.
Right? So always be honest with yourself. Be the best you. Fix things about yourself you do not like. And feed your dreams.
All right.
That's my gems.
All right. Well, y'all heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, from my guy Tavares TV. Listen, man, I can't thank you enough. Honestly, like I know we were supposed to do this episode like a couple days ago, but the fact that we was just able to get it done regardless, like it was all out. It was more than I could have expected it to be, honestly. And we definitely gonna have you back for sure. So don't worry about it, ladies and gentlemen. He ain't gonna be too far away.
We're gonna do a live performance hopefully next time.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, for sure. We definitely gonna get busy. But listen, my brother, I want to thank you so much. Like just in general, not even just for this, but in general. Like I want to thank you so much for showing me love, showing me appreciation, showing me support, and believing in what I do enough to want to come on here and support it. I truly appreciate that.
Likewise, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate
absolutely. Well, we're gonna have you back.
You already know. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So this has been another episode of the HolloTalk Podcast. I want to thank my guy Tavares TV for coming on and talking to me. Before we go officially, drop some of your socials so people know where to find you.
Oh, okay. I'm on _Tavares TAVARES TV. So that's underscore on Instagram. I'm Tavares TV on everything else. Just type Tavares TV in Google. TAVARES space TV. You can find all my Spotify. You can find I'm on Apple. You can find all my music streaming platforms up there. And thanks for taking the time to listen.
No, absolutely. All right, I'm gonna get you out here officially. I want to thank the HolloTalk Podcast listeners and supporters for supporting us through and through each and every week. And TV, I appreciate you, my brother. It's
You
all love.
already holla. Yeah.